Hey everyone, my name is Daniel, and in this video, I'm going to show you how you can go ahead and publish a custom agent to SharePoint. So now in Copilot Studio, when you select channels, you select SharePoint, you have the option to pick and choose the SharePoint site of your choice. You come down, you select deploy, and then you select deploy SharePoint site. Once this has completed successfully, when you go to that SharePoint site, you will see it as one of the agents directly tied to that site. So stick around because I'm going to make this as a deep dive comprehensive video by showing you all the important things such as permissions, the licenses that you need, deploying the agent to SharePoint, approving it over there, and then go ahead and undeploy it as well. This is going to be awesome. But first, here's my intro video. So let's get started. So my goal to achieve with this new feature is to take this custom agent that I have built in Copilot Studio, this agent, and then deploy to SharePoint such that when I come to SharePoint and I go ahead and click on this Copilot Studio, I should see in this drop-down that agent, the one that I just showed you over here, all things Lego, that agent needs to be appearing over here, and also making sure all the permissions are correct. That's the new functionality of displaying that custom agent which we just built in Copilot Studio into SharePoint. Make sense? All right, good. Because first, let's go and take a look at what are the requirements from the user standpoint, all right? So I'm actually going to go ahead and build the agent as me, Daniel Christian. So what kind of license do I need? Well, let me show you. Me specifically, I need to have two licenses. One of them has to be the Copilot Studio user license because I'm actually creating the agent. And then in my case, I also have the Microsoft 365 Copilot. This is how I can go and create an agent and also go and publish it. Now, another scenario you could use is that you actually have an agent license, Microsoft Copilot Studio agent license. You can use that as well. So there are some combinations that you can work with, but for the sake of this demo, this is what works for me. All right, so me is the person who's actually creating the custom agent. Let me show you what the end user has. So in my case, the end user is Finn. Finn is my dog. And he actually has only two licenses. He's got the Microsoft 365 E3 developer license and also this free one over here, which is a Microsoft Power Automate free. But in addition, he also needs to have the Microsoft 365 Copilot license. And in this case, I went ahead and set that up using the pay-as-you-go. So for the pay-as-you-go, basically, I come over here to Microsoft 365 Admin Center, billing and usage. And when I go to pay-as-you-go services, you see over here, I actually have a subscription, an Azure subscription. And that subscription is what gives all the users in this security group access to the Microsoft 365 Copilot. And just to show you, this is the security group name. When I come back and take a look at that exact security group, Finn is over here. Make sense? I do this because it's very important for you to see my scenario of how the configuration of all these licenses are before I actually show you the demonstration. All right, so now let's jump straight into that agent. All right, so this is the agent that I've built. Very simple. I went ahead and actually had a knowledge over here. Didn't pull anything else, just the agent, and the agent works in perfect condition. If I come over here and actually go and say, hey, give me some information about Lego part number 3031. Oops, I didn't type something more. Let's see if there's a part number with that. It actually goes and checks the two sources that I have and then pulls some information in. So there is actually a part number of 30331, even though it was a typo, and it pulls the information in. Great. Now what I'm going to do is deploy this to SharePoint. And I'm doing this as me. Now, let's go and see what access I have on SharePoint. All right, me again, Daniel Christian. So I'm going to come over here to the sites place, and over here you see how it says 5 members. When I go and click on it, you see my name as the owner. That is my access. Now, this is not a requirement, but I went and did that, especially because I am publishing the agent from MCS, Microsoft Copilot Studio, to SharePoint. This is something that I am doing. So we go back again to our MCS, Copilot Studio. I'm going to come over here to our channels. And in my channels, I'm going to go and click on SharePoint. Now, prior to this, you have to go ahead and publish your bot at least once. So I'll go and do that as well. I'll go and make sure it's published. This can sometimes take a few minutes or even just a few extra seconds. So just wait for this thing to finish. All right, awesome. Publishing is completed. So I'll just go and X out of over here. Now we're coming to the SharePoint. I'm in channels, I'm coming to SharePoint, and this is the new functionality, all right? This was not there before. Now when you come over here, it is actually showing me all the SharePoint sites that I have access to. Me, again, as an owner in this case. And the one that I'm looking for is right over here, all things AI. Come back over here to MCS, and that's the one, all things AI. I go ahead and select it, and when I do that, it is also telling me this is currently undeployed. That's good. Over here, if I hover over it, it actually gives me a link, which I'll show you that in a minute. So what I'm going to do is click on deploy, and it goes through the deploying process, and it actually is really fast. You see, in this case, immediately went through. It says successfully deployed the agent to the SharePoint site. And a couple of things happen. You see over here, now it says deployed, and you see the button on the bottom, it automatically changed to undeploy. What this means is that when you're ready to go ahead and retract the agent, like remove the agent from SharePoint, you have to do that over here, all right? Come back to the MCS, Microsoft Copilot Studio, go to that agent, come over here. But we'll do that at the end, all right? Let's not get ahead of ourselves. I want you to read something over here. It says, if you would like to make this agent easily discoverable to all users of this SharePoint site, please work with the site owner to make its status as approved. And here things get a little confusing because when you first read it, it almost sounds like, hey, I need to still approve that from the SharePoint site, which is correct. Bottom line is once you go and push this out, people will be able to access that SharePoint agent. But initially, until you've gone ahead and approved it, you got to search for it. So let me walk you through that scenario, all right? So I come over here now, and I have signed in as Finn. See on the bottom left, this is Finn, remember. And let's just verify what level of access Finn has. So when I come back to that SharePoint site right over here, see, Finn is a member level. And what member level basically means is it got the edit level access. And just to prove that to you, I come over here to the settings, I go to the site permissions. Right over here, when I click on advanced permission settings, see the all things AI members, that person has edit level access. And therefore, the edit level permission works just well. Good. It's important on the permission side. Get that right. Okay, so come back over here. I went and deployed it. Now let me sign in as Finn. All right, so this is Finn, just to make sure. Right over here is Finn. I'm going to come to this site. And if I go and just refresh it, right, this is that same SharePoint site. I've just refreshed it. And I'm going to wait over here. And if I can hover over here, in the drop down, I don't see that new agent just yet. I don't see it. But the agent is still accessible. It's a little hidden. And I'll show you where that is, all right? Again, easy way to find that out is come back over here and you see that link, All Things AI. If I go and click on it, it opens up another tab. It takes me into this SharePoint site right over here. See, Christian Family, SharePoint.com, All Things AI. It is taking me directly to that site. But what it has done is actually kept it hidden in a location. Let me show you what that location is as well. And let's see it from the Finn standpoint, all right? So I'm coming over here, again, signed in as Finn. I'm going to go to my settings. I'm going to site contents. And here in documents, when you click on it, you see that agent. This is the one that we just published. But the important point is we've signed in as Finn, just a member. When you deployed it from the MCA side, if the user is savvy enough on the SharePoint, they can directly come in here and they can go ahead and click on it and the agent shows up on the right, all right? See, right over here, it showed up. I haven't even approved it. It shows up. The neat thing is it actually tells me customize in Copilot Studio, which I'll show you that in a minute. And this is the important point that I want to make is that set approved level doesn't control the access. All it does is goes ahead and makes it easily available for the users. Now, what I just did over here is something I don't advise people to do because it is going to cause some problems for you in just a minute. And let me prove that to you as well, all right? So remember, we were in documents and this is where the agent was. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back again as the original maker. I'm going to click on this ellipsis over here and I'm going to go and now select set as approved, all right? That's one of the things it told us to do. So I'm going to click on that set as approved. It's saying set this as an approved agent for the site. Site owners can choose to approve agents to be available for site visitors in the agent picker. Approved agents can be found in site assets. And we'll go verify that. So now I'm going to do set as an approved agent. It goes ahead and approves it. Perfect. Success. I'll go and click on close. Let me just actually get out over here. So I'm going to X out on this side. It's taking me back to the site. And as you can see under site assets, copilots, and approved, the agent just showed up over here. But let's go back in as that end user and see what this has caused to them. So I come in and now, hey, it disappeared. You see, it was right over here, it disappeared. But in this case, see what happened over here? It says, you don't have access to talk to this bot. Why? Because the agent moved. And so in this case, when I click on this drop down, it shows it over here, but it is just not listening on the site. And this is what I meant, is that what I just showed you as a member going and hunting down that agent, I recommend you don't do that because that's going to cause problems. So the way to work around this is basically just come back and do a refresh. And then when you have this error on the right side, what you do is you X out over here, you come back on this side, it'll load, and then now you will actually find all things Lego in the correct place. And when you click on it, it will actually work on this side. It takes the first time it takes an extra second to load, but then let's go and actually ask that exact same question we did on the Copilot Studio. I'll go to my agent directly. Let me just copy this over here all the way, do a Control C, come back in to the SharePoint, paste Control V. I'll just hit enter. It's the exact same agent. So the answer that we should be getting is very similar. And here you go. It went and actually gave us the exact same answer. Me signing in as that regular user. So this is pretty awesome from this standpoint. Let me show you one other difference is because this agent was created and deployed from MCS, Microsoft Copilot Studio. And so for those scenarios, it actually first tells you, hey, this was customized in Copilot Studio, kind of like a mini bragging going on over here. But if I click on the drop down, all right, and there are these other things like the project documents agent. If I go and click on that, that was created in the agent builder, all right, on the Microsoft 365 Copilot site. And so in that scenario, I don't see that little ribbon saying it was built in Copilot Studio. In addition, this agent, when I go and click on this ellipsis over here, I see the option for copy link for Teams. But when I go back over here and click on that one, it loads again. When I click on this section over here, see the copy link to Teams is grayed out. So there is that subtle difference also, which I've noticed on this side. Very important thing to note. Other thing is over here, this is the agent we created in MCS. When I click on this edit in Copilot Studio, another tab opens up and it directly takes me into the Microsoft Copilot Studio side. Now this user did not have any of the license, so that's why this showed up. But for the other user, which is me signing in as me, if I come in and if I go ahead and click in this thing over here, the edit in Copilot Studio, it'll actually open up in the tab and take me directly into the Copilot Studio side. Pretty neat how that works. But if I go in again as the other one, right, the one that I just selected over here, project document library, project documents, if I click on this ellipsis, when I click on this edit agent over here, it just takes me to the agent builder. So you see, SharePoint and its settings knows where the agent was built, and if you go and edit it, it will take you to the correct destinations. I like the simplicity of that process. All right, so one of the thoughts that you might already have is that, hey, Daniel, when we went in and deployed it, it actually went in and created this .agent file. And that is correct. This .agent file is there in the site assets, Copilot's approved folder. I can go ahead and download it, take a look at it. But does that also mean that this agent shows up on the agent builder side? Well, let's take a look. All right. So I'm just going to click on this app launcher and go back again into our Microsoft 365 Copilot chat. Over here, these are the agent builder agents. So when I come now to create an agent, all right, just to make sure I can see that, if I click on this My Agents, this is where I can see all the agents that were created right over here in this agent builder. And guess what? Our agent that we created, this All Things Lego in the MCS Copilot Studio, that did not show up over here on the agent builder site. So that's another clear distinction of where this agent was made. Okay, so we deployed the agent, we approved the agent, we saw how it works over here. The final thing that I want to do is undeploy the agent. And the first question is, Daniel, can I just do that directly from the SharePoint site? Well, let's go in, all right? I'll just make sure it is me, the person who actually deployed it. I come over here. Let me go back directly to the All Things Lego, because that's the one that we customize in Copilot Studio. When I hover over here, I am not seeing an option to go ahead and undeploy. Even if I click over here, nope, I don't see that. This delete is just for that chat history. Also making sure over here, I don't see any options, like no other ellipses. On the settings piece, I don't see anything over here. And trust me when I say I went to the site information, I went and looked in the back, like I don't see that option over here. What you have to do is go back into the MCS, Microsoft Copilot Studio, and undeploy it from there. So just to pretend like I'm coming in fresh, right? Okay, I've come in fresh over here after a few days, and now I want to undeploy it. This is how it works, right? Came into the MCS, made sure I'm in the correct environment. I am, because I see my agent over here. And now I'll go ahead and click on it, go back into the channels piece, and then in that SharePoint, when I click on it, it is loading, but it knows the status of this agent, that it has been deployed. So here now I see the option to undeploy it. So I'll go and click on undeploy, and a pop-up window comes up, and it is saying undeploy agent from SharePoint site. It says, are you sure you want to undeploy this agent from this SharePoint site? This will remove your agent from the site, and users will no longer be able to interact with it. Okay, that's fine. So I'm going to click on undeploy. The process is going through. You see over here, now it became undeployed, a gray highlighted box, and over here it's back to deploy again. Well, how did this change on the SharePoint side? Well, let's go take a look. I'll go back over here to my SharePoint, and we are back in that same place, which is perfect, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to refresh it. When I refresh it, there you go. That agent has disappeared. It's no longer over here. But what happens on the Copilot side? Well, let's take a look. I come back over here. It is loading. And when I click on this drop down, you see that agent all the way disappeared. This is the agent name, all things Lego. It has disappeared. So the undeploying process is almost immediate. It goes ahead and extracts that agent from your SharePoint site. It will also go ahead and delete that .agent file. It just deletes it directly from over here, all right? And again, reminder, this all happens from the MCS side. And just to verify, I come in as a user over here as well. When I come over here, the user still sees it, but if I go ahead and refresh it, and it is loading on this side, it's giving me this error. Why? Because the agent doesn't exist anymore. If I X out of this one, come back in, it is loading, the error went away, but then I can't see it over here. This is the neat thing. It went and completely extracted it, and now that custom agent is no longer available on SharePoint site. Now, I already know one of you is thinking about this question, which is, Daniel, how can I temporarily disable this just so that my team can test, learn, and also document it? I completely get it. And there is a way to do that. So let me show you that. You need to have a Power Platform admin role. That way you can actually go and update the data policy. So once you have that role, you come into the PPAC, which is Power Platform Admin Center. You go to your security, then you go to your data and privacy, and then go to data policy. When you click on it, this is where you go and set up all your data policies. Now I have one over here as an example. I call it my Copilot governance. When I click on it, I go to my edit policy because I have the access, and then I'll go to the next. And right over here in the connectors, when you go to the business side, and if I just do a quick search for, say, Copilot, you see all of these connectors are here. Skills with Copilot Studio, the one for deploying into Microsoft Teams and M365 channels over here. However, I have blocked this one connector. And if I switch over to the blocked side, you see right over here, there is the SharePoint channel in Copilot Studio. That's the one that I have blocked. What this means is you do not have the option to take that custom agent you built in MCS and deploy it to SharePoint. Let me even demonstrate that to you, right? For this one, if I go to next again and go to next again, it's only for selected environments. So I go to next again, and the one I've applied this policy to is an environment name called Daniel Christian. That's actually my personal developer one. So let's switch over into Copilot Studio. This environment over here is Daniel Christian. Let me just take one of my agents, all right? If I just click, this is one of my agents that I have. So I'll select on that one. I'll go into my channels. Now, I still see it over here, all right? It's not grayed out or anything. I still see the SharePoint one. But when I click on it, immediately on the top right, there's an this channel isn't available because of your organization's DLP, data loss prevention. For next step, contact your admin. This is a good thing, which means now you have a way to temporarily block it so that you yourself can test, learn, document, and then slowly release this feature to the rest of your company. So at this point, it's only natural for you to be asking this question is that, Daniel, what is that scenario when I actually build a custom agent on MCS and push it over to SharePoint? Because In SharePoint, I can go ahead and build agents. In Microsoft 365 Copilot's Agent Builder, I can go ahead and build agents. When should I use MCS? And the simple answer to that is based on your case scenario. Like, do you have a scenario where you are building some really custom agents? When I say custom agents, you want to come over here into MCS and you want to go ahead and have multiple agents over here. You want to go ahead and add topics and really control how you're building that agent. If that is the scenario, that's the agent that you want to deploy into SharePoint, then MCS is the place, Microsoft Copilot Studio. That's the place that you want to build this custom agent and then deploy it to SharePoint. Once you run across limitations in your SharePoint agent or the Microsoft 365 Copilot Agent Builder, then you come to Copilot Studio and build it over there. Now, it doesn't matter if MCS, the Copilot Studio, is also using SharePoint knowledge. Doesn't matter, all right? You go ahead and build it over here for the sake of its complexity, and then you go and deploy it into SharePoint. There is no hard and fast rules to say that, hey, because it's a SharePoint site, I can go ahead and use only the SharePoint agent or the agent builder one. There's no rules like that. It's all about your use case and your scenario. So hopefully this video has been useful to you, because this ability to build that custom agent in MCS and deploy it to SharePoint is fantastic. But now I've also given you the knowledge to test, play, govern, and then slowly release it in your tenant. And as always, keep using Copilot Studio. Hey, if you have a few seconds, can you click on that like button and even consider subscribing it? Because it's just 2 easy clicks for you, but boy, it makes a big difference for me. Also, if you don't mind, can you put in a comment below? Because that really boosts this video up to reach a higher audience. And once again, thank you for watching this video.